Adam Levine. Let's have a chat. So I have known this kid for a long, long, long time. And early on in his career, when he was a pimple-faced kid with no tattoos, he often slept on that sofa right there. And before Maroon 5, his band was called Kara's Flowers, and I went to many Kara's Flowers show. They were usually opening for another friend of mine's band called Phantom Planet. And then Jenny Lewis's band, Rilo Kiley, would often play on the same bill. And another band called Rooney, which was Jason Schwartzman, the actor's brother's band, and Jason played drums in Phantom Planet back then. And there were shows I went to seeing Adam Levine and Kara's Flowers play where there were more people on stage than there were in the audience. And here's a picture of a show from 23, 24 years ago. And Adam would always ask me for information on things that he was interested in. He knew I was really into cars and motorcycle and golf and vintage guitars. And I always, I help everybody best I can. So one day he calls out of the blue and he said, "What do you know about Shelby's?" And I said, "A lot." And he said, "I want one." I said, "What do you want?" He said, "I want a 1967 Shelby GT 500. I said, "You don't want the 500 if you want to drive it. You want the 350. 500 is worth more and it's rare, but it's pretty unruly." He said, "All right, find me a GT-350. How are you going to find one?" I said, "I have a cousin, Dr. Nathan, who owns or has owned every single year Shelby ever made, including a 65 with factory miles only. I think it had .8 miles and it had the window sticker and the plastic on the seats. It was amazing." So I call Dr. Nathan up and we begin this search and we find a very nice 67, but it's red and white. And my cousin's really particular. He doesn't believe in refinishing cars and not their factory VIN number. But Adam didn't care. Adam was like, "I want a black one with white stripes," which is a beautiful color combination. So my cousin and I oversaw this rotisserie restoration of making this car. Chef's kiss. And we're a few months into the restoration. Adam's like, "Where's the car? I want the car back. I want the car back." And I said, "Adam, you have to be patient. There's a car restoration. Do not rush it." He's like, "The paint's done. The carpeting's done. The thing runs. Get it to me." And I'm just like, "Dude, you have to just let them finish debugging it. Get it right." So Adam's like, "I want the car. I want the car. Just get the car shipped to me." So I get the car shipped from Houston to LA. And it's beautiful, and he's very happy with it, and he's driving it around for a couple days, and he calls me. He's like, "Nathan, you didn't tell me that the steering was going to be this hard." And I'm like, "Dude, it's a car from 1967. It had manual steering. You have a full-time yoga instructor. You can't, for a Sunday driver, muscle it around. Like, it's